You're applying for a rental property in Perth, 50 fucking people showing up.
Australia's rental squeeze is no joke and hardly anyone's calling it out. According to SQM research, the national vacancy rate is stuck at around 1.2%. That's only approximately 36,000 homes available for rent across the whole country.
The Sydney rental crisis is making me want to...
Alright, so I've been looking for a room to rent in Melbourne for the past week, which feels like a lifetime.
I live in Australia. I'm a solo mum with no daycare. Rental prices are like $550 a week.
I just got back from an inspection of a rental, and I always afterwards will go online just to see how much they've bumped the rent up. And holy shit, I'm speechless.
What the actual fuck is happening in this country? I'm so goddamn tired of this absolute bullshit housing situation.
So in Sydney, to rent a house is going to cost you around $1,043 a week, and to rent a unit is going to cost you around $700.
Australia is often seen as a land of opportunity, good jobs, better lifestyle, and a safe future. But today, behind this dream, there is a reality many people are struggling to survive. The rental crisis in Australia is no longer just news headlines. It is something people are living every single day. Right now, finding a house has become harder than finding a job. Rents are rising faster than salaries. Inspections have long queues. Families are forced to downsize. Students are sharing rooms with strangers. Migrants are sleeping in cars, hostels, or overcrowded houses. And for many Australians, the question is no longer, which house do I like? But, can I afford any house at all? In this video, we are not here to blame anyone or push one opinion. This is not about politics or debates. This is about real people and real stories. People who wake up every day worried about rent. People who skip meals to pay bills. People who feel stressed, anxious, and uncertain about their future, even while doing everything right. You will hear voices from students, working professionals, families, migrants, and locals. Everyone has a different background, but the problem feels the same. High rent, no security, constant fear of eviction, and the feeling that the system is not listening. So stay till the end. Listen to these stories. Share your own thoughts in the comments. Because change starts when people speak up. And today, we are listening.
I live in Australia. I'm a solo mum with no daycare. Rental prices are like $550 a week. That's like the minimum. If you earn $30,000 a year and you get $10 a week child support, $26,000 roughly of that would have to go to rent. So how are the solo parents out there surviving?
So in Sydney, to rent a house is going to cost you around $1,043 a week, and to rent a unit is going to cost you around $700 a week. What do you pay for rent per week?
I pay $950, 2-bedroom in Zetland.
In Zetland?
I think that China owns Australia.
Even vacancy rates, bro, at an all-time low. It's like 1.5%. Are you guys from Sydney? Where are you from?
India.
Do you feel like Sydney's expensive?
Yeah.
Was it easy to get into Australia?
I guess so.
Like any visas and stuff? And
Yeah, I mean, not that hard.
When you're applying for a rental property in Perth, 50 fucking people showing up. All these people to view properties everywhere. You would think that this is to buy a house, mate. Look at all the people rocking up. Perth is screwed, guys. Perth is absolutely screwed for rental properties.
You may have heard the narrative that Australians just need to get used to living in apartments. That's what the policymakers keep telling us. Because it's cheaper, greener, because it fits their immigration, city planning agenda. But the truth is, most Australians don't want to live in shoeboxes. They want the Australian dream, a house, a backyard, a bit of space. And the market proves it. Detached homes now command a 174% premium price in major cities. Since 2019, house prices are up over 52%, while units just 22%. People are voting with their wallets and apartments are losing. According to new data from CoreLogic, house prices grew over 80% over the last decade, while units only grew 37%. And get this, 62% of all loss-making sales in Australia are apartments. Investors are getting burned and renters are getting squeezed. Most people are losing except for some developers and other bureaucrats. But sadly, our government just doesn't care. They're pushing big Australia, endless population growth through mass migration. But the problem is, where are we going to put everyone? Not in new suburbs, not in regional towns, but instead they're going to cram them in dense urban towers. The dream is dead and the future is now vertical. In just a few years, only the ultra rich would be able to afford what used to be the norm, a detached house with a backyard. Everyone else will be caged in high-rises, paying more for less, and told to be grateful about it. This is absolutely managed decline.
What the actual fuck is happening in this country? I'm so goddamn tired of this absolute bullshit housing situation that's completely fucking over every single hard-working and unable to find highly paid enough work Australian. These traitorous cunts in Canberra, Labor, Liberal, I don't give a flying fuck which colour tie they wear, they've absolutely screwed us. They've sold out our entire fucking future so their billionaire mates can get another investment property. Meanwhile, people working full-time jobs can't afford a fucking studio apartment without spending 70% of their pay. And don't get me started on these fucking real estate agents of tyranny, blood-sucking leeches, the lot of them, making us jump through hoops like performing monkeys just for the privilege of renting some shitbox that hasn't been renovated since fucking Whitlam was PM, so they can buy a shitbox Mercedes and lip filler. They want our entire life story, bank statements, references from our fucking kindergarten teacher, and for what? To live in some mould-infested dump that costs $800 a week? The government keeps importing a fucking city's worth of people every month while we can't even house the people who already live here. What the actual fuck is that? It's demographic replacement combined with economic genocide. They're turning us into permanent renters in our own country, while foreign investors and property moguls get tax breaks to buy up everything. And these politicians have the fucking audacity to tell us just to get a better job or move to the regions. Fuck you! My great-great-grandparents built this country and now I can't even afford a fucking shoebox in the suburbs they grew up in while working a job for Zog to make multi-billion-dollar profits for BlackRock. This isn't a housing market. It's a fucking Ponzi scheme designed to transfer wealth from young Australians to wealthy boomers and foreign interests. We're watching our entire nation turn into feudal serfs unless you're a diverse sheep in the public service, while these corrupt pieces of shit in Parliament keep serving their growth lobby corporate masters. They've made housing a speculative casino instead of a basic human right. It's fucking criminal what they've done to this country. We're descending into feudal territory where the landed gentry will live off their inheritance and the serfs can just fucking die, so long as we can extract some desperate labour from them along the way.
The worst part of Australia's rental crisis is not that in one generation we've gone from saving to buy to saving to rent. It's not allowing individuals to own 283 investment properties. It's not rental inspections being busier than Ruben Solo's 21st. It's not foreign investors causing local homelessness. It's not even 70% of Airbnbs previously being long-term rentals. It's the fact that having shelter over your head is now dependent on impressing a country road mannequin with a hair gel sponsorship deal, a mythological creature known across the Nullarbor as a real estate agent.
I just got back from an inspection of a rental and I always afterwards will go online just to see how much they've bumped the rent up. And holy shit, I'm speechless. Okay, so we're looking at 3 different time periods here. So 2019, and then it got rented out again in 2022. And now 2025 is this new listed property price. So we're looking at $330 per week, which is pretty reasonable, especially when I show you how much the 2025 one was. And it's a 2-bedroom place with a small courtyard and a little lounge room and a kitchen. You know, perfect. We go to 2022. They've bumped the rent up in 2022 by $15 per week. That's a reasonable amount to bump up a rent after, 3 years, okay? Now, I can't believe how insane this is. Another 3 years. Do you want to take a guess just in the comments right now how much extra they've bumped this freaking rental property up? I literally cannot believe this shit. Over $100. Over $100 $450, you know, obviously with Australians freaking per calendar month, and if anyone doesn't know what this is, Google per calendar month. That ends up being like $2,000 a month. I'm actually fucking shocked.
Australia's rental squeeze is no joke, and hardly anyone's calling it out. According to SQM research, the national vacancy rate is stuck at around 1.2%. That's only approximately 36,000 homes available for rent across the whole country. What that means, ordinary people, families, young couples, workers, new migrants are fighting tooth and nail for a tiny slice of a shrinking pie. Rents keep climbing, supply stays tight, and in older suburbs with aging infrastructure and no new housing, the pain hits hardest. It's the quiet crisis many Aussies wake up to every day. Scrambling for a roof over your head, paying more for less, always waiting for vacancy that never shows up. Meanwhile, the only suburbs growing are the new estates, the ones with fresh infrastructure, apartments and townhouses built for density. That's where demand and prices are booming. For many people, this isn't just a market, it's a crisis. If you're renting or thinking of investing, you need to act now. Don't wait for the next rate hike or vacancy crash. DM me and I'll show you smarter housing or property options before this squeeze gets any worse.
To all my Brits living in Australia, the Sydney rental crisis is making me want to... I feel so homesick, being so stressed about moving, and it's sending me crazy. Why have I got my full For You page covered in Scotland is the most beautiful place in the world? Like, why did I hate it before, and why now am I like, oh my god, the culture. Why do I now want to learn Gaelic? Why now do I want to go for a ceilidh? Is it the December time? I'm really confused. The Sydney rent crisis is making me batshit crazy. Anywho, anyone?
This video is for any news, any magazines, any... I don't know, I just want to get our story out there. Like, honestly, it is at the point now that I'm just broken. I am broken. Please share my videos. Please get the word out there that me and my family are in urgent need of a 5-bedroom plus rental. Like a large, long-term rental around the Hunter region. I honestly shouldn't have to beg and beg and beg and plead to try and keep a roof over my family's head. I am saying this with... I'm over fighting this. I have been fighting for 7 months to get us a rental. And no, we're not the only family out there. Honestly, and I know that, and I don't want anyone to feel sorry for us, or, you know, to be put on top priority, because I know there's a lot more people as well as that are actually homeless and need help too. But yeah, this is just, it's starting to get beyond me. So yeah, just please share the shit out of my videos, because that's what I need. And as I said, no news people. It's like they won't look at my... I've seen other stories of large families getting help and their story out there, and, you know, like on the news and stuff. What's wrong with me and my family? Like, I don't want any special attention or anything like that. I just want my story to be heard. And our story to be heard like every other Australian that is homeless or facing homelessness. We need our story to be heard.
Alright. Alright, so I've been looking for a room to rent in Melbourne for the past week, which feels like a lifetime. Can't find anything, but to make myself feel better, I'm going to show you guys some of the quality of the rooms that are available for rent in Melbourne. So first up, this is fucking diabolical on a few different levels. Firstly, the bed frame is made out of dirty, probably moldy pallets. And no storage, whatever it is what it is. I don't know if you noticed, there's a fucking stovetop there. I'm speechless. And it's only that much a month. You get a pallet bed frame and a fucking stovetop. There's literally, what are the things that suck air up out of stove? There's a range hood there. So probably a bargain. There might even be a shitter and a shower behind the camera. You just can't see it. Next is this fucking banger. That looks like it's in a fucking developing country, and for $185 a week, you get to sleep next to someone, which is just brilliant. Next, we have, what is that, a fucking spaceship for $290 a week. What? I don't even have a fucking explanation on that. That's fucking whack. Terrible screenshot, but looks good enough. $270 a week. Wait till you see the size of the room. Cunt. What? How do you even... Who... Imagine getting up in the morning and fucking popping your bed up to get your clothes on and then taking a step and you're out of the room. It's $270 a week. What the fuck is going on? And I think this signs off nicely. I don't even need... It's like fucking Harry Potter, cunt. And it's... Actually, $250 a month is pretty cheap, but what the fuck is that? It's like someone's storage closet. They've slapped a single bed in there, and you can... Good for students, because you can fucking cream yourself in the corner. There's not even a window. Imagine the stench. You think a bloke's room stinks. Imagine fucking locking a bloke up in this banger of a bedroom. It's pretty cheap. I might actually apply for it. And just to make myself feel better, here's a photo of Miller after I took her for a walk today. God bless.
Is migration contributing to the housing crisis? Yes, it's contributing. Migration is like a straight man breathing in inner city Melbourne. Part of the problem. It's economically illiterate to say migration doesn't contribute, equally as illiterate to say it's the only factor. Describing migration as a factor in the housing crisis is a lot like describing my manhood. Well, mate, it's not the biggest, but it's not insignificant either. Now, a lot of people are directing their criticism of migration specifically at Indian migrants, conveniently forgetting the fact that half of Ireland is here. That's right, Siobhan, the Protestants are finally distracted. Time to outbreed them. Nah, sorry, you can. But hey, leaving the racism out of it, something I struggle to do in my comedy, when net migration is higher than new dwellings built, rents will rise. It's basic supply and demand for housing is more inelastic than Bonnie Blue's cat. I understand a lot of lefties don't want to be on the same side as bum-fluff white nationalism, but if you truly support the dignity of brown people, I don't see how you can support the current migration system. Indian students are being herded in like economic cattle to prop up failing universities and a flailing housing market. The carrot of permanent residency dangled before them as they race through peak hour traffic on 2 hours of sleep in a real-life iteration of Squid Games. People who believe in a sacred cow squashed in to maintain Australia's sacred cow of infinite house price growth. If you care about the dignity of brown migrants, you wouldn't support an unsustainable quantity being funneled in to become a brown serf class. You'd instead support a sustainable quantity enjoying a better quality of life when they come here. That way they can afford an actual brown serf class and not drown on every episode of Bondi Rescue. Brown migrants today are like soy lattes, used and abused by the upper class, resented by the working class. Nothing about the current migration system is good for brown people, except the ones that run right-wing meme pages. Thumb up and comment if you love Australia. Yes, I love Australia. Beryl from Bega. And unlike a Facebook comment section or the Brisbane River, let me be clear, it's the amount of migration, not individual migrants contributing to the housing crisis. Blaming individual migrants for the housing crisis is like blaming the water from a leaking pipe. Yes, there's a lot of water where there wasn't water before, and now you want to move somewhere where there's less water. But the true source of the problem is the dodgy plumber that designed the piping. And the true source of Australia's housing problem are the dodgy politicians that designed the economic piping of this country. Piping that is dangerously concentrated on housing, more concentrated than red coddy straight out of the bottle. And if those leaking pipes aren't fixed soon, Pauline becomes the political tampon that will at least decrease the flow of water.
Oh, I'm bloody sick of water, mate. You see it everywhere now.
So yes, the Migration University Industrial Complex is a major part of Australia's housing crisis, but the individual Indian making your fillet of fish at Macca's can't change that. At best they can change your order. What kind of a psychopath buys a fillet of fish? Oh, that would be me every Friday night. Owen McDonoghue from Dublin. Now I live in Coogee.
Hey everyone, let's have a look at the rental market in Queensland. I'll just turn this around somehow. Rightio, so I'm looking at, I don't know, I think I might have put in the Gold Coast, but I was trying to put in other areas. And now my computer's failing, but $650 a week for a 4-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. That's it. Not fancy. It doesn't even look fancy. But check this out. No wonder I'm fucking anxiety breathing. Check this out. I was also up doing some cleaning and got a bit short of breath. My iron's a bit low still. Just for a unit in Southport, which is down the Gold Coast in Queensland, $2,300 per week. $2,000 per week. 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2-car accommodation. So I don't know if that's a whole house, but it says townhouse. I would say it's just this middle one here that's marked in red. It's a fucking joke, Australia. Now, I've found Toowoomba to actually be just as cheap as Townsville, and they seem to be the cheapest suburbs in Queensland that I have personally seen. Townsville is like 14 hours away from Toowoomba, maybe more. But for a 2-bedroom unit with 1 bathroom in Glenvale, so it's those new ones, those little duplexes that they've got out, $360. Now that's the cheapest I've seen a unit like that. So Toowoomba aren't too bad in their prices for rentals. Here we've got another duplex, but the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom one for $480 a week. Another townhouse for $520 a week. 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms. You used to be able to get something like this for $300 and something a week in the rental market a few years ago. Another duplex, the 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom one, $510 a week. A 3-bedroom basic house with 1 bathroom. We don't even know if this has aircon. It looks like an old house with 2 garages, $550 per week. That was Toowoomba. But now you come down to Morayfield and you've got $650 per week for a standalone house at 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and 2-car garage spaces. $650 a week. This sort of thing used to cost maybe early 400 and something a week a few years ago to rent something like that. This is Toowoomba again. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, another townhouse type thing, $470. This is also Toowoomba, an old style 3-bedroom house with 1 fucking bathroom. Once again, we don't know if it's aircon, $560 a week. Is it airconned? It has got some air conditioning here. I don't know if it's in every room or just the lounge room. But this is just, it's getting beyond ridiculous. Toowoomba's actually cheaper than anywhere else in Queensland other than Townsville. But not for this nice. $650 per week, 4-bedroom, 2 bathroom. Used to be able to get something like that for maybe $500 a week. $400 and something a week years ago. Wow, actually something slightly reasonable. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, $500 a week. I was paying in Beachmere $500 a week for an older house which was extremely high maintenance with constant palm fronds falling that I had to pay to clean up, not the owner. An outdated water tank I had to still click the little switch with, which didn't even make the water super hot anyway. With, did I have an aircon? A shitty old style box aircon for $500 a week for that year that in the last house they wouldn't renew my lease. For 1 bathroom and 3 bedrooms. And then you start getting out a bit. For a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom place, $730. Toowoomba again, $650. $460 for a little old cottage. I'm trying to go down. 3-bedroom cottage. I mean, I remember when a townhouse used to be maybe $320 a week or $280 a week or something like that. It's just beyond ridiculous, this rental crisis. $650 in the Morayfield area, which isn't even that flash of a fucking area. 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. $650 a week. Now, if you went to Sydney or anywhere else like that, you are fucked. You are fucked. Someone's selling, you know, just a little granny flat unit thing or 1-bedroom part of a duplex, $350 a week. It is just, it's insane. Huh, $1,000 a week. What? Because it's 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms? Nearly $700 a week. No wonder why people are living in tents in this suburb here, Morayfield area, getting charged $8,000 by council if they put their tents somewhere to try and live. Fucking pick up your act. The government. No. Now let's just talk about hotels. They're also extorting people. $200 a night. I had to stay in a hotel about 3 weeks ago to go visit my mum. $200 for the night. And we got there late. We got there like 6 p.m. or something. Left at 7 in the morning. And I'm $200 down in my money and my budget. Just so we could sleep for the night in this hotel room. It's absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting what they're doing. The hotel industry and the rental industry.
I actually can't believe we did this, but me and my boyfriend secured our apartment in Bondi, in Sydney, in Australia, in 2 weeks after landing in the country. So I'm gonna try and start from the beginning, like the first thing that we did. So when we were at home in the UK, we downloaded the Domain app. So Domain is basically an app where you can view apartments that are up for rent, and then you can book inspections, which is a viewing, through that app. So you can click interested in viewing, whatever, and then if they have a viewing organised, it will tell you the time and the day of the viewing. That's also something to keep in mind. So I've written down that most inspections happen on a Saturday, but they also do have some viewings on a Wednesday and Thursday. So when I say viewing inspection, basically from my experience, all viewings in Sydney at least are open viewing. So it's essentially like an open house vibe. It's rare that you would be able to get an estate agent to give you a private viewing. So they'll tell you the day, the time that they're doing the viewing, and you just hope you can make it. If you can't make it, you miss out, basically. Also on inspections, you're gonna wanna register for the inspections before you go. That's kind of how you go about looking for what's available to rent, and then how you book and attend inspections. What we found was anywhere under $1,000 a week, the viewings were absolutely packed. As soon as you went a bit higher over that, the viewings were a lot quieter. So to apply for an apartment, you basically submit an application. Most of the time, with our experience, this is done using various apps. So there's a few different apps that estate agents use. So the one that we found was the most common was through Real Estate AU. Essentially what you do, and you can do this before you get to Australia, is you set up a renter profile. So this includes so much information about you, like job history, living history, rental history. It's really in depth into you and whoever else you're going to be renting with. We did that when we were at home, and then obviously when you get to Australia and you want to apply for an apartment, you literally just press apply and you just use that same application for like all of the apartments, if that makes sense. The same thing also applies with this app called To Apply, or it's also called Tenant App. And then there's also Snug, but we actually didn't have to make an account for Snug. So that's essentially how you apply to rent an apartment.
It's moving day, isn't it? Look at all my bags. I've got so many. Basically, I'm moving into a flat share today. So I'm going to go there, get the keys, unpack, and put all my stuff in the fridge. I feel like this is not like enough bags, considering I live in Australia. I'm not just traveling. Like, I don't know, because those are just food. So anyway, we'll see. Sun is shining, going to be a good day. Just in the fridge. This is so surreal. Ignore the state of me, but like, I'm just having a massive pinching moment. I'm just cooking my little dinner. And I'm just like, what do you mean I've moved away from home? Live a little flat now. I've just been like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And like, I'm here like long term, like, what? I can't believe it. And I'm just cooking my little dinner. Like, what?
As we reach the end of this video, it's important to pause and reflect on what we've just heard. The stories, opinions, and experiences shared here are not isolated incidents. They are part of a much bigger reality that is affecting thousands of people across Australia every single day. The rental crisis is no longer something that might happen in the future. It is happening right now. This issue is not just about rent prices going up. It's about the emotional weight people carry when they don't know where they'll be living next month. It's about the stress of constantly checking listings, attending inspections with dozens of others, and still walking away empty-handed. It's about working full-time or studying hard, yet feeling like stability is always just out of reach. What stands out the most is how common these struggles have become. Students sharing rooms meant for one person, families moving further and further away from their workplaces and schools, migrants starting a new life while dealing with housing uncertainty from day one, long-term residents watching their own neighborhoods slowly become unaffordable. Different lives, different backgrounds, but the same pressure. Many people talk about housing as a market, an investment, or a statistic, but for the people living through this crisis, housing is about safety, dignity, and peace of mind. It's about having a place where you can rest after a long day, where you feel secure, and where you can plan your future without fear. When that basic need becomes unstable, everything else in life feels unstable too. One of the most painful parts of this crisis is the silence many people feel around it. Some feel embarrassed to talk about their struggles. Others feel judged or dismissed. Being told to just move, just earn more, or just adjust ignores the reality that many people are already doing everything they can. Hard work alone does not guarantee housing anymore, and that truth is difficult to accept. This video was created to break that silence, not to point fingers and not to create division, but to create understanding, to show that behind every rental story is a real human being dealing with stress, anxiety, and uncertainty. Talking about these issues openly helps people realize they are not alone and that their struggles are valid. If you're watching this and you're currently dealing with rental stress, please remember this. You are not failing. You are not behind in life. The situation is challenging, and many strong, capable people are finding it hard. Reaching out, sharing your experience, or even just acknowledging how difficult things are is an act of strength. When people are constantly worried about where they'll live, it impacts how they work, study, and connect with others. A society cannot truly thrive when basic security is missing. We also want this channel to be a space for conversation. Your voice matters. Whether you agree, disagree, or have a different experience, share it respectfully in the comments. Real change begins when people talk honestly and listen to one another. These conversations may not solve the crisis overnight, but they help bring it into the light where it can no longer be ignored. The rental crisis is complex, and there are no simple solutions, but awareness is a powerful first step. Every comment, every shared story, and every conversation pushes this issue forward. It reminds leaders, communities, and platforms that housing is not just an economic topic, it is a human one. Thank you to everyone who took the time to watch this video till the end. Thank you to those who were brave enough to share their stories. And thank you to you for listening with an open mind.